Hello, everyone. We're going to quick talk about the legislative branch today. Then I'm going to give you your assignment, and I'm going to give you the rest of the hour to work on it. I'm going to give you tomorrow to work on it, but then you also have a small assignment tomorrow. Then I'll be back on Wednesday. So if you have not finished your assignment on Collin Peterson, the Congressional District 7, all of that from last week, you can finish that up. Then you're going to start on this assignment that I'll introduce you to at the end of the hour or the end of this presentation. And then you'll have a little assignment tomorrow as well, and they're all due on Wednesday. So we'll see how everything goes and talk to you on Wednesday, but here we go. So we're looking at the legislative branch. A lot of this information that I'm covering is more of a review. So you should be golden with this. When a member of the House or the Senate gets elected, they will swear, they'll take an oath, and they will swear that they will abide by the Constitution and do all of this. So I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I take the obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God. So they do this typically the first week of January in the year after they are elected. So they're elected in November, and that following January, usually in the first week, they will begin their term, and it's a really big deal, and they can bring their family Bible and take the oath and take pictures with the president and the vice president and do all those kind of things, because it really is a big deal. I want to remind you that it was the Great Compromise that the framers made in order to have a two-house Congress. Remember, the two houses would be the House of Representatives and the Senate, and that's from the Great Compromise. The House of Representatives is based on population, and the Senate is based on equal representation. And it's the job of Congress to make laws, and the rules that Congress must abide by are listed in the articles, or in Article 1 of the Constitution. Laws can be made to establish a policy. They could be made to make a plan of action, like how we're going to go about achieving something. They can establish crimes. They can collect taxes and spend money. They can do all those kind of things. The constituents are people who are represented by the elected officials. So we are constituents of Collin Peterson, who's our congressman, of Tina Smith and Amy Klobuchar, which both of those two are senators from the state of Minnesota. Congress has the responsibility to pass laws, and we'll go through that process here shortly. They also have a responsibility to their political party. I know that there's discussion these days about how much of responsibility should they have toward their party versus the Constitution and the country versus their constituents. There's all kinds of things that come into play when congressmen are making decisions. Congress also helps individuals and groups. So, for example, people who can't afford to buy their medicine, someone from Congress might be able to help that person. There used to be a man in the Senate named Strom Thurmond. Strom Thurmond, as a senator, he continually met with different people from, his constituents. And when someone needed a job, he actually had people help him get those people jobs. So kind of interesting character Strom Thurmond is. And then they are also to investigate when there's something that appears to be amiss. It's their job to investigate. And that's kind of where we get the impeachment stuff today. All right, so the members of the House and the members of the Senate have specific items that go with them. The House of Representatives, each representative represents approximately 700,000 people. So we have 8 different districts in the state of Minnesota, and each one of those districts has approximately 700,000 people in it. The base pay for a member of the House would be $174,000. You have to be at least 25 years of age at the time you're sworn in order to be elected as a member of the House. You have to be a citizen for 7 years, reside in the state, not necessarily the congressional district. However, that's usually the case, that people do live in that district, but by law they don't have to. There's 435 members of the United States House of Representatives. There's been a law passed that says there won't be any more. And each of the members of the House serves for 2 years. They have a 2-year term. So every 2 years they have to run for re-election. It's very expensive to run for re-election, so they count on a lot of people to help donate money and to help them get re-elected. As far as the Senate goes, instead of 700,000 people, no matter how many people there are in the state, they represent the entire state. So some senators just represent 1 million or 2 million people, but some representatives represent, 35 million people or 40 million people. So the number of people that each senator out in Washington, D.C. represents varies widely depending on the population of the state. Each senator makes $174,000. Again, that's the basic pay. If you would have a leadership position, you would make more. People like Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi make more than that. They're in over $200,000. To be a senator, you have to be 30 years of age when you're sworn in. You have to be a citizen for a minimum of 9 years. You have to live in the state in which you represent. There are 100 members of each, or 100 members within the Senate, because there's 50 states, and there's 2 members from each state, so that makes 100. And each senator serves for a 6-year term. 1/3 of the Senate is up for re-election every 2 years, and that way it keeps experience within the United States Senate. So it keeps things running more smoothly. The 2 parties that we have are the Republican and the Democrats. The members of the House and the Senate, they are loyal for the most part to one party over the other. There are people who are elected as independents, meaning they're not affiliated with either the Republicans or the Democrats, but they caucus with one or the other. And what caucus means is a caucus is a political meeting. So when they caucus in the Senate, the Republicans are meeting and then the Democrats are meeting. Or if they caucus in the House of Representatives, the Democrats are meeting or the Republicans are meeting. So a caucus is a political party meeting. Schoolhouse Rock, we're going to watch that when this is done. And we are also going to watch how a bill becomes a law. I'm going to quickly go through the assignment, and then once I'm done with the assignment, Mrs. Turner will play those 2 little videos, and then you're going to have an opportunity to get to work. So your assignment is to create a chart of one form or another as to how a bill becomes a law. There's a chart in Chapter 8. You can look at that. You can just copy it if you want. Not like on a copier, but like by hand or using computer technology. Or you can look online and look at various charts. You can create one off the information and the videos that we're going to look at. Doesn't matter. You're going to create a chart as far as how a bill becomes a law. And that is, I'm actually going to change this. It's going to be not due Tuesday. You'll be able to work on it Tuesday, and do the rest of your homework. And all of your homework will be due on Wednesday when I come back. So I'm going to stop this and have you watch the 2 videos. So